The course included several technical sections with sharp turns and elevation changes, demanding precise technique and split-second timing.
Like, why do you have me going down the mountain at 98 miles per hour on a 90-degree turn?
Ain't never seen tears from a gangster, so why don't you want me to cry?
Alright, so we got the worst Olympic game deaths ever. Let's hop right into it.
1912, Stockholm Olympics. On July 14th, 1912, Portuguese marathon runner Francisco Lázaro lined up in Stockholm for what would become the deadliest marathon in Olympic history. The 21-year-old carpenter from Porto had trained in Portugal's moderate climate. At 1:45 p.m., temperatures reached 90 degrees Fahrenheit with oppressive humidity, making the 26-mile course a furnace of asphalt and dust. Before the race, Lázaro made a fatal decision. To protect himself from sunburn, he covered his entire body with a thick layer of beef fat and wax, creating what he believed would be...
Bro, what? Did sunscreen just not exist back then? Wait, what? This nigga said beef and wax.
Coating against the sun's rays. Instead, he had sealed his skin in a waterproof barrier that would prevent his body from cooling through perspiration. As the 69 runners began the marathon, Lázaro started...
Bro, he literally cooked himself, like dead ass.
Conservatively, running alongside competitors from Sweden, Finland, and South Africa. The early miles passed without incident, but as runners moved through the Swedish countryside, the sun climbed higher and temperatures continued rising. By halfway, several runners had collapsed from heat exhaustion and been pulled from the course. Lázaro continued despite showing early signs of distress. His breathing became labored, and sweat accumulated beneath the waxy coating. Unable...
Bro literally ran himself to death. Like, literally ran himself to death. And what's getting me is the fact he chose beef and wax. Like, you trying to cook yourself for somebody. Like, that's insane.
Evaporate and cool his body. At the 18.6-mile mark, witnesses reported that Lázaro was staggering and appeared confused. Classic symptoms of heat stroke. His core body temperature was rising dangerously as his cooling system failed completely. With just 5 miles remaining, Lázaro collapsed suddenly on the dusty road near Södertälje. Spectators rushed to his aid, finding him unconscious and burning with fever. His skin was pale and clammy beneath the melted wax coating. Swedish medical personnel transported him to Serafimer Hospital in Stockholm, where doctors worked frantically to lower his body temperature. Despite their efforts, Lázaro never regained consciousness. He died the following morning from heat stroke and dehydration, becoming the first athlete to die during Olympic competition.
Dying in the middle of a marathon in front of thousands of people. That is genuinely one of the most... I don't know, I can't even say embarrassing for real. Cause like he set himself up for failure. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Bro definitely did it to himself.
Death led to new safety protocols for marathon races, including mandatory water stations and temperature monitoring. 2010 Vancouver Olympics. On February 12, 2010, Georgian luger Nodar Kumaritashvili was making his final practice run on the Whistler Sliding Center track, just hours before the Vancouver...
That sport looks so fun, but yet so dangerous at the same exact time.
Olympics opening ceremony. The 21-year-old athlete had trained his entire life for this moment, following his father and uncle, who had both represented Georgia in luge. The Whistler track was notorious as the fastest and most dangerous in the world, with speeds regularly exceeding 93 miles per hour on its 4,480-foot course. During training weeks, several athletes had crashed, raising safety concerns. Italian luger Armin Zögler had publicly criticized the track's design, calling it too fast and dangerous. Romanian racer Violeta Stramturaru had suffered a concussion after losing control, and several others had experienced crashes that damaged their equipment. At 4:44 p.m.
But no, all jokes aside, there's too many red flags to allow anybody to continue going on this track right here, of course.
Kumaritashvili began his run from the men's start position, lying on his back on the small sled as he accelerated down the icy track. The first several turns passed normally as his speed increased. By the track's most challenging section, he was traveling at approximately 90 miles per hour, well within normal range for experienced lugers. As Kumaritashvili approached,
Imagine experiencing 90 miles per hour on a turn. Like, bro, your whole internal organ system is just shifting in that bitch.
turn 15, known as 50-50, something went wrong with his steering. Video analysis showed his sled began drifting slightly left toward the outer wall. He attempted to correct by applying pressure with his right leg, but the adjustment came too late and was too aggressive. His sled suddenly shot up the banking of turn 16, launching him into the air like a projectile. He was thrown from the sled at over 87 miles per hour, flying several yards before striking a steel support pillar holding timing equipment. The impact was horrific, causing massive trauma to his head and chest. Medical personnel reached him within minutes and attempted CPR, but the injuries were unsurvivable. He was pronounced dead at Whistler Healthcare Center at 5:50 p.m., just hours before the opening ceremony.
Man, you know that impact was crucial. Like, that must have been the worst feeling. I'm talking about just your face, because you went head in first based off of the drawing. You just getting a face full of pipe just based off that, bro.
Track modifications were immediately implemented, including higher walls and padding around steel supports. 1992, Albertville Winter Olympics. On February 22, 1992, Swiss speed skier Nicolas Bochete was preparing for a routine training run at Val d'Isère during the Albertville Winter Olympics. The 27-year-old athlete was in France for a demonstration event showcasing speed skiing, where skiers reach speeds exceeding 125 miles per hour. Bochete was experienced, but not among the sport's elite competitors. On this morning, Bochete decided to take a casual recreational ski run on regular slopes, away from the speed skiing course. He wasn't wearing specialized speed skiing equipment, instead using standard alpine gear for what was meant to be a relaxing warm-up. Weather conditions were good, with clear skies and well-groomed slopes. At approximately 10:30 a.m., Bochete was skiing down an intermediate slope when he encountered an unexpected obstacle. A snow grooming machine was working on the slope to maintain snow conditions. These massive vehicles, weighing several tons with powerful engines and wide tracks, are commonly used to prepare and maintain slopes. What happened next remains partially unclear, but witnesses reported that Bochete appeared to lose control or misjudge his line as he approached the grooming machine. Whether due to momentary lapse in concentration,
Bruh, isn't there somebody that's supposed to, like, verify whether or not anybody is on the slope before they just go out there like that? Like, what it sounds like is just these niggas are just failing at their job. That's what it really sounds like, for real.
equipment malfunction, or miscalculation, he was unable to avoid the massive vehicle. At his traveling speed, even on an intermediate slope, there was no time for evasive maneuvers once he realized the danger. Bochete collided with the rear of the snow grooming machine with tremendous force, suffering massive traumatic injuries that proved immediately fatal. The impact was so severe that survival was impossible, despite
You know for a fact that he probably died either on impact or his spine got snapped or severed. One of the two.
immediate response from resort personnel and medical teams. His death sent shockwaves through the Olympic community and speed skiing world, leading to increased safety protocols for demonstration events and stricter guidelines for athlete and resort operations interaction during Olympic Games. 1960 Rome Olympics. On August 26, 1960, Danish cyclist Knud Enemark Jensen lined up for the 62-mile team time trial at the Rome Olympics, unaware he was about to become the first athlete to die from drug use during Olympic competition. The 23-year-old
He used drugs. Well, I think we all know how this went.
part of Denmark's four-man cycling team, competing in the grueling road race under scorching Italian sun with temperatures reaching 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Jensen had been taking Roniacol, a blood circulation stimulant legal at the time, but later banned due to dangerous side effects, especially when combined with extreme exertion and heat. The medication was commonly used by endurance athletes who believed it improved performance by increasing blood flow, but its effects in hot conditions
Just sounds like a small dose of coke to me.
poorly understood. At 2 p.m., the Danish
Small dose of that snow.
began racing from Terme de Caracalla, with Jensen taking his turn at the front as they battled oppressive heat.
I'm not a medical professional. I'm not.
and the challenging course through Roman countryside. The team time trial required all 4 cyclists to work together, maintaining high speeds throughout the 62-mile distance. For the first hour, Jensen appeared to handle conditions well, rotating through the pace line and maintaining the rapid tempo necessary for Olympic competition. However, as the race progressed and afternoon heat intensified, Jensen began showing distress that teammates initially attributed to normal racing fatigue. His pedaling became less smooth, and he struggled to maintain position during his front turns. By the 54-mile mark, with just 8 miles remaining, Jensen was clearly in trouble. His teammates noticed he was weaving slightly and seemed disoriented, but encouraged him to continue rather than recognizing developing medical emergency.
Look, they think this nigga gassed and tired. No, bro is literally having a heart attack right now.
With 5 miles remaining, Jensen suddenly collapsed while riding, falling from his bicycle onto hot asphalt. His teammates and race officials immediately stopped to assist, finding him unconscious with severe heat stroke signs. His body temperature was dangerously high, breathing labored and irregular. Italian medical personnel transported Jensen to a Rome hospital, where doctors worked to lower his body temperature and stabilize his condition. Despite their efforts,
throw that nigga in a freezer.
Jensen died several hours later from heat stroke exacerbated by the circulation stimulant. The autopsy revealed that roniacol, extreme heat, and intense exertion had overwhelmed his body's temperature regulation.
They should have thrown that nigga in a freezer, bro.
Leading to the first serious Olympic drug testing discussions. 1964, Innsbruck Winter Olympics. On January 25, 1964, Australian alpine skier Ross Milne was training on the downhill course at Paterkofel Mountain above Innsbruck, preparing for the Winter Olympics beginning in days. The 19-year-old from Sydney was one of Australia's most promising young skiers, representing his country despite limited access to world-class training facilities and snow conditions at home. Milne had arrived weeks early to acclimatize to challenging European racing conditions and familiarize himself with the Olympic downhill course, known for its technical difficulty and high speeds. The Paterkofel downhill was considered one of the most challenging courses on the international circuit, featuring a vertical drop of over 2,850 feet and sections where skiers routinely exceeded 81 miles.
Bro, all these conditions are just dangerous. No wonder people are dying.
per hour. The course included several technical sections with sharp turns and elevation changes, demanding precise technique and split-second timing.
Like, why do you have me going down a mountain at 98 miles per hour on a 90-degree turn? Like, bro, what you want me to do? Drift the ski? Like, come on now.
His training run, Milne was skiing at racing speed through the upper section when he encountered a particularly challenging sequence of turns requiring precise line selection and expert technique. Snow conditions were firm and fast, typical for World Cup-level racing, but unforgiving for any technical errors. As Milne approached a sharp left-hand turn at high speed, something went wrong with either his equipment or technique, causing him to lose control of his skis. In Olympic-level downhill, the margin for error is virtually zero, and once a skier loses control at racing speeds, recovery becomes nearly impossible. Video footage showed Milne attempting to regain control as his skis drifted wide of the intended racing line. Fighting to bring his skis back under control, he was carried off the prepared racing surface into trees bordering the course. At his estimated speed of over 62 miles per hour, the impact with trees was catastrophic. Milne struck several large pine trees sequentially, suffering massive trauma that proved instantly fatal. Ski patrol and medical personnel reached the accident site within minutes, but survival was impossible given impact severity. His death shocked the Olympic community and led to improved downhill course safety measures, including wider safety margins between racing lines and obstacles, better protective barriers, and more rigorous course inspection procedures still used in international ski racing today. Athens 2004 and Rio 2016. Olympic venue construction has claimed numerous lives, but Athens 2004 and Rio 2016 stand out for their tragic worker tolls. In Athens, the rush to complete venues created dangerous working conditions that proved fatal for multiple construction workers. On March 15, 2004, months before the Games, 45-year-old Dimitris Antonopoulos was working on the Olympic Stadium roof when safety cables failed. Antonopoulos fell 100 feet to his death while installing lighting equipment. The Greek government had delayed construction for years due to bureaucratic problems, forcing contractors to work around the clock to meet deadlines. Workers regularly worked 16-hour shifts without adequate rest, and safety protocols were often ignored.
damn 16 hours of just hard labor, construction labor. Like, come on now.
Another worker, 38-year-old crane operator Nikos Georgiou, died when his crane collapsed while lifting steel beams for the aquatic center on June 7th.
Oh yeah, they just did not give a fuck. Like they just did not care, bro. How the whole machine collapsed?
2004. The crane operated beyond rated capacity due to construction acceleration pressure, and inadequate ground preparation caused the massive machine to tip over, crushing Georgiou in the operator's cab. At least 4 construction workers died building Athens Olympic venues, with dozens more suffering serious injuries. The Rio 2016 situation was even deadlier, with Brazilian authorities acknowledging at least 11 construction worker deaths directly related to Olympic venues. On March 27, 2013, Anderson da Silva Santos was installing concrete forms at Olympic Park when a crane collapsed during high winds, killing Santos and injuring 4 others.
Bro.
The 440,000-pound crane...
Yeah, I would never get involved in construction labor. Just don't get involved in construction for the Olympics. Then you're good, because they obviously don't care. They don't value your life, clearly.
Operated in wind conditions exceeding safety guidelines due to schedule pressure. On April 3, 2014, 2 more workers died when the Itacarão Stadium roof section collapsed during installation. Fabio Luis Pereira and Ronaldo Oliveira de...
Bro, what is going on with the Olympic stadiums? Like, it's just bad luck involving that. Like,
were crushed by falling concrete and steel, victims of inadequate structural support. The most tragic incident occurred April 21, 2016, when a bicycle path built for Olympic cycling events collapsed into the ocean, killing 2 people. The elevated path over Guanabara Bay suffered from design flaws and construction shortcuts. Brazilian investigators revealed systemic problems, including substandard materials, inadequate safety training, and pressure to cut corners to meet deadlines and budgets. These deaths highlighted the human cost of hosting Olympics and led to improved international oversight of construction projects. If you'd like to see more stories like this, make sure...
That's the end of this video, man. I'm out, y'all.
Hey, hold on now. Before you leave, like the video, subscribe. Thank you.
Ain't never seen tears from a gangster, so why the world want me to cry? Fighting depression, talk to them spirits, use them judges that help me get by. But I cannot lie, yeah, that shit hurt me bad when I got that call, told me you died. Like how the fuck can they take you? Man, I hope I wake up, it's a lie. Couldn't walk to that hearse, cause I remember the words and I remember the look in your eyes.